The topic for today is going to be on the little more serious side. We're going to talk about some death, murder, killing,
the death penalty.
I used to support the death penalty hardcore. I was disappointed because I actually grew up in a very liberal state. I don't live there anymore, but I would say,
dang these pansies!
why can't we be like Texas? They have a freaking death penalty express lane. If you kill somebody in Texas,
You gonna die.
back then, I thought the death penalty meant justice. It meant toughness. It meant eye for an eye. People who oppose the death penalty, I thought, psh, they're just weak. They feel sorry for killers. What's wrong with them? Then one day, somebody dropped some knowledge on me. About 5 years ago, I was at a seminar with like-minded people, and we started talking about the death penalty. To my surprise, I was the only one in support. Somebody asked me, "Okay, Julie, so you're cool with the government having the power to kill people?"
What?
Touché. When you put it like that, I started thinking, I don't trust the government to do much of anything. I don't trust the government in education, healthcare, regulating businesses, but executing people? Yeah, I totally trust the government to have that authority. This is not consistent logic here. My position was based purely on emotion and not logic. Many studies have shown no credible evidence that the death penalty deters crime. For a long time, I assumed that the death penalty was cheaper than feeding and housing a prisoner for life. I was wrong. Turns out the death penalty costs taxpayers more than life in prison. According to conservatives concerned about the death penalty cases cost up to 10 times more than non-death penalty murder cases. Death penalty cases are way more complex. Because there's a life on the line, death penalty cases are significantly longer. There's more experts, there's more lawyers, there's more eyewitnesses involved, there's a longer jury selection, there's a pre-trial, there's more trials. Some drag on for years and years. This hurts the victim's family. There's more trials, more uncertainty. They have to keep reliving the tragedy. They have to keep talking about it in court. It prevents them from just finding peace. The extra cost of death penalty cases is paid by taxpayers, you. Even in Texas, the death penalty express lane state, the death penalty still costs an average of 3 times more than 40 years in maximum security prison. Many of these extra costs are legally mandated to prevent an execution of an innocent person, but even still, it happens. Trying to make the process quicker will result in more innocent people being executed. Back in the day, when I supported the death penalty, I used to think, oh yeah, sure they're innocent. They're just sorry they got caught. But I learned the real world isn't so clear-cut. Real life is not CSI where it's 100% obvious who done that crime. DNA evidence actually only exists in about 5 to 10% of criminal cases. In the real world, it's more like, yeah, he probably killed her. We're talking about the government here. There's gonna be some incompetence involved. Police sometimes make mistakes, bad lawyers happen, eyewitnesses aren't always reliable, people are imperfect. More people are wrongly convicted than a lot of people might think. Just imagine being on death row for a crime that you didn't even do. Holy nightmares! Since 1973, about 140 people have been released from death row after evidence surfaced that they were wrongly convicted. That's about 1 person let go for every 10 people executed. That's terrible since many of these people have wasted years behind bars for crimes that they didn't do. They can't get those years back to spend with their families, but at least they're alive. There is no way of truly knowing how many people who have been executed by the government may have been innocent all along. The courts aren't going to do anything about it since the defendant is well dead. Sometimes evidence comes out after it's too late. In a handful of cases, new DNA tests have suggested that the person executed was innocent. And there's no way of taking that back. After you kill the wrong person, you can't just say,
Oops, my bad.
So there you have it. The death penalty, not a fan.